Hi everyone, my name is Hannah. I'm an itinerant autistic support teacher with the IU13. I have a caseload of 24 students this year, and they're all in the Hempfield School District. The majority of them are at Landisville Middle School. I also support students at one of their elementary schools and at their Landisville Education Center. I teach social skills, different social thinking skills, and emotional regulation, and I also touch on executive functioning. All of my students, I see them all different ways. I see some of them one-on-one, I see some of them in small groups, some of them I push into the classroom, and some of them I see a variety of ways. Whatever works in my schedule that week, whatever they're doing in the classroom that week. If someone comes to me and asks for support in the classroom, I'm very flexible. I'm there for whatever my students really need, and I try to, it's like a puzzle piece. My schedule each week is always different. It's always exciting. I never know where I'm needed and what I can do to help. I'm working on my master's, and when I first started taking all the classes, I struggled. Definitely got stuck because I don't teach necessarily in a traditional classroom setting. It's very different. So I have learned to, I think one of my biggest aha moments about everything I've learned is that it can be done. I can do it. It might not look how everyone else's looks, but it works for me and my students, and then that's what matters. I've learned about so many different tools to use with my students, even just if I am working in a face-to-face classroom setting, that I can use to kind of just enhance my teaching. In one of my classes, we were challenged to kind of try out a different rotation model. Maybe if you were just doing all blended, maybe you want to do hybrid. And I tried hybrid with my students, and it actually came at the perfect time last year because I was feeling overwhelmed with my caseload, all my students that I was supposed to see in a day. I did not enjoy grouping my students because I didn't feel that I could meet their individual needs as well if I was seeing 2 or 3 of them together. I think with social skills and emotional regulation, it's important to have that one-on-one and individualize it as much as I can. And I also, one of my big things, which I'll get into when I get down to my philosophy, rapport. I want to build that relationship with my kids. Working with students on the spectrum, or any student actually, if they don't trust you, you're not getting anywhere. So first and foremost is building that rapport. So I kind of looked at it and I tried the hybrid method, and I fell in love. I liked it best when I had 2 students in a group, so I could spend 10 minutes with one student while the other one kind of worked on an independent task, and then I'd flip flop, and then we would do 10 minutes of like a fun game of their choice. I have lots of different games that we can play. And I loved it, and my students loved it. Actually, this year, my 8th graders were like, "Can we do that again?" And I have used it, and I can get it a lot more accomplished with their individual needs, because my instruction is all based on their individual needs. I don't have like a curriculum. I make all of my materials or piece things together from different books that the IU has provided for us, and it's different. So I'm not like given a textbook and here you go. I kind of piece things together based on what my students need, and the hybrid really helped with that. But like I mentioned, I needed to get over that first original hump of I don't teach in a traditional setting. This is not going to work for me. So I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned through my master's is to be flexible. Try new things. Don't be afraid. If it doesn't work, try something else. There's so many tools out there. It doesn't have to look one way. You can piece everything together and use the technology to enhance whatever you're doing. My teaching philosophy, I think, is probably the same. I don't think it's really tweaked. I remember when I graduated from college, one of my when I was interviewing and applying to different school districts, one of them had me write my teaching philosophy, and I was able to actually find it. And I looked at it after I'd written this one, and it was pretty similar. I want my classroom to be a place where students feel comfortable coming to me, parents feel comfortable coming to me, other staff in the building, they feel comfortable coming to me. And telling me what they need from me. I'm there to support every single one of them. My students, I want them to be able to come and talk to me not about school things. If they need help with something else, I'm there to help you. Whatever your need is, I'm a safe person you can come and talk to. And I'm going to work really hard to meet all the needs and support all of my students appropriately. And I think that's always been. I became a teacher because I want to help. I want my students to grow up to be very good members of society. The last thing was I would have to agree. I think all of my classes have helped change my face-to-face instruction. As I mentioned, I've gone through a lot of them. I'm at the end of my program. Um, and like I mentioned before, my biggest thing, I feel like I'm more flexible in my instruction. I'm willing to try new things. I'm willing to incorporate more technology, if nothing else. I'm willing to try the different rotation models and see what works. And if it doesn't work, tweak until it does. You'll get there. It doesn't have to look cookie cutter the same. And for all my students, it looks different. All my instruction is very individualized. What I do with one student is not what I do with the next student. Some of them similar things, but they all have different needs. We all have different needs. And that's what I'm there to work on with my kids. Thanks for watching.